Do we not get a cheer? Open to silence, guys. Open to silence after all that.
Yeah, it's because you lost a race, mate. Don't worry about it.
To dry bones, okay? To
Dry bones
no,
of all
the king.
people.
The king.
Exactly.
I have no body to go with.
Absolutely unimaginable. Anyways.
Okay, so this is the Mario Kart Wii glitch showcase. This is a pre-prepared video of TAS and RTA executed tricks. We're going to start with a real-time execution segment and then move on to a TAS segment, which is tool-assisted speedruns. I'm going to just click play because I'm aware this is very slightly overestimate. So let's get into let's get into the real-time segment first on the first track, Luigi circuits, with a tech known as super sliding. This was tech that was first implemented into Mario Kart Wii by a player called EJ on this very course, literally about a year and a half ago now. As you'll see, we're not using Funky Kong and we're not using the Bowser bike. We had a high clip off this wall into the out of bounds even, and then off the track. You'll see our wheels aren't even on the ground anymore, and that means that we're actually under the course. What actually happens is the collision of the road is wedged in between the hitboxes of the bike, and as we tap back and forth rapidly on the controller, our speed is actually increased and maintained, as you can see in the corner of the screen there, at 120 kilometers per hour. We use this to maintain the maximum speed the bike can go throughout the entirety of the race. Basically, there are two types of speed in this game: internal and external velocity. IV and EV. If you're a Pokemon player, we're stealing those terms now. IV and EV, basically, EV is the one we're worrying about here. We build EV by leaning the bike, and because the game can't detect that we're on the road to decelerate our bike, we just use that speed and don't decelerate at all, allowing for 6.5 seconds over a normal run for the 1:03 world record on this course now. Absolutely insane end screen that you just see King Boo flying under the course still. Without further ado, we're moving on to a different course. Mushroom Gorge, a different vehicle as well. This is the Twinkle Star. It's still an outside drifting bike. There's going to be a theme of this, and that is ODBs, or outside drifting bikes. We used an IDB, an inside drifting bike, for the speedrun that you just saw, and that allows us to wheelie and not much else really. I mean, bikes are pretty good in this game. But as you can see, we are flying. If you keep an eye on that speedo as we go across these mushrooms here, you'll see our speed is accelerated and then maintained at a really, really high rate of speed until we touch back down on the ground. This is a very similar concept to super sliding, but this is basically called ODM, or outside drift momentum. You can see we're just basically flying at an insane rate of speed and then use that speed to carry us across the final gap. You'll see we're getting 30-second laps. Again, this is a 2 or 3 second time save on such a short course for the no ultra category. This was first implemented by a player named Flambam RTA, and it's kind of actually insane that it's been pushed so far in such little time. This is about a year and a bit old. I think it was November 2024 that this was first kind of implemented into RTA, and since then it's become such a long way, despite the fact that this game is, like I mentioned before, nearly 18 years old. Basically what happens is you build the EV while in the air, and then once you hit the ground again, you rapidly lose that extra speed. This record, much like Luigi Circuit in fact, is over 6.5 seconds again saved on the inside drift bike world record, which is just phenomenal for such a short course. Remember, these tracks have been optimized and optimized and optimized over the past, near on 2 decades. So to save that much time over, just a short span of a year is just phenomenal. That is Mushroom Gorge ODM. Now, thank you. I think it's pretty cool. There we go. Okay, so the next one also uses ODB, also a different bike. You'll see this is the Phantom and Dry Bowser. We use Dry Bowser's hair to align, not necessarily precisely, but Bowser's massive mullet. That goes down the back. Ponytail? Mohawk. Bowser's mohawk to do this. So that is called an ODB clip, an outside drift bike clip, and that's not the last time we'll see it. We are going to see it not just once more, but twice more on this track. That's right, we're seeing it again. 3 for 3 Rainbow Road glitch. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. 3 for 3 Rainbow Road glitch has been made not just by one player, this is the current world record core, but by 2 others, Owen Smith being notably the first player to make this. Very, very quickly to explain, ODB, basically when you hit a wall, the angle your bike faces to snaps up to a 45-degree angle away from where you currently are aligned, allowing the player to release a mini turbo from the drift, wheelie, shroom, and clip away from the wall in a way that an inside drift bike simply could not. Can I get a cheer for Rainbow Road? 3 for 3 Ultra. 3 for 3 Ultra. Absolutely incredible. The next track here we have is Sherbetland. Sherbetland, again, you can see a short track, but it showcases, we're back to inside drift bikes, I'm so sorry, to showcase something called a high clip. Now this high clip is very, very precisely both aligned and executed. You can see here. To not just make the high clip, but land back on the track to get a lap count in just 15 seconds. We don't just do that once. And these tricks, I have to hit home how precise these tricks are. Not only are you getting a high clip, there's basically 4 things that need to happen for a high clip to happen in this game. And that's a parallel approach, which we get from the alignment. We get a high speed, a high pitch, and 5 frames of airtime. Those last 3 things happen because of our shroom. You can see we get bounces upon kind of shrooming. Very, very slight bounces, which allow us just enough airtime. And those bounces are entirely luck-based, which makes this trick so difficult, and that's an RTA 3 for 3 Sherbetland. To get airtime from a flat surface is insane. Now don't worry, we're not showing 4.5 minutes. It's okay. This is actually a flap. A flap, if you don't know, is a fast lap. The goal is not to do 3 laps as fast as possible. The goal is to do 1 single lap of the track as quickly as possible, which is why we've sped this up, because nobody likes to hear Funky Kong screams, right? Okay, you've had enough of that. So we're going to skip forward to not even the start of the lap. This is the start of the setup of the flap, and this is another high clip into a horizontal wall into out of bounds, and then we do an out of bounds seam ride. You can see here that we're actually riding along the out of bounds, which usually count you off, but because the track extends ever so slightly into what would usually be out of bounds, you're able to ride along that seam. Now, this trick took 16 and a half years, oh, actually 17 and a half years to develop and implement RTA. There's been so many iterations of this glitch, both in TAS and in RTA, and I cannot stress, this is real time. This was done on a console by a player. We're speeding this up because, as you can see from the timer in the top corner, this takes minutes to set up. And this guy who performed this, Safish, it took, I think it was months. Now, I've slowed this down here because we're not actually riding the track here. You can see we're slightly under the track, and what that means is if we were a few pixels to the left, that would be counted out of bounds. A few pixels to the right, we would be in the void, and instead, we're able to ride the seam and do this. And I'll explain what's going on afterwards, because I just need to let this breathe. 4 months, thousands of attempts, blind shroom, and it respawns you in the last key checkpoint to complete the lap. If that doesn't deserve a cheer, I don't know what does. Under 30 seconds. Under 30 seconds. That's been performed once in history. Absolutely insane. I said I was going to tell what's going on. Unfortunate that you don't know. There you go. This is the Desert Hills Flap, and we are on a kart. Why we're on a kart? You'll see. This was performed by Phoenix, and you'll see it's a very, very quick flap. This is where you enter a barrel roll state. Barrel roll state allows your bike's rotation to be unlocked, and we do that by riding the edge of this lake. You'll see the dark section of the lake there has barrel roll properties. We are then able to use this well-positioned wall to get on on one tire. I was going to say all 4 tires, but on one tire, and then precisely maneuver our analog stick to do this. This is called wheelchair. Now, a wheelchair has some amazing properties, and the main one is that when you're in a wheelchair state, the game doesn't detect you generally being as out of bounds if you're driving on an out of bounds plane. Now, the reason for that is that the game actually detects your out of bounds as a single point on the hitbox of your bike. By tipping upside down, that point is further away from the ground, and that allows us to go into the off-road like this. Usually, Lakitu would respawn you right now. but instead we're able to do a series of frame-perfect hops. These hops, I cannot stress, every single one of these hops is frame-perfect. If you hold it any longer than that and see the sparks appear, the cart will turn right side up and you'll get counted out of bounds. The ultra attempt will be over and have to start the attempt all the way again. Now what we're doing here is manipulating the checkpoints to get to what's called a delayed lap count, which is a bit too technical to explain in such a marathon setting, but essentially what you need to know is that a delayed lap count allows the flap to be faster, meaning that we can do this and get just a 12-second fast lap time by driving upside down, giving baby Luigi some brain damage. And that counts a lap. Now, as insane as that is, it's even more insane that that record was actually set like a week ago. That was the newest lap record, and oh no. No.
Anyways.
God help us all.
Hi guys, what's up? I'm really cool and I know this game. So, Shy Guy Beach here. You just kicked me. Oh my god, hi. So this track, he's still going. This track uses the Zip Zip, which he told me not to say because it's actually called the Rapide. Yeah, he's really upset by that. But it's called the Zip Zip, let's be real. And you will see why on lap 3. Lap 1 and 2 is actually driven slightly different. And again, you will see why on lap 3. Jacob has very kindly offered me notes here. Rapide uses a higher off-road stat. Guys, I know this game. Guys. Guys, thank you. So let me actually concentrate for the thing. So lap 3. You're going to see him turn around, I do believe, and use the fact that it is an outside drifting bike to clip this, go flying into the out of bounds, get spawned here. I believe you have to drive a little bit backwards, and then you get the lap count. Just like that. Okay, I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
Get this guy off stage.
I'm sorry.
Get him off stage. Off.
Sorry, I don't know what came. I just came back from Texas. This is the beginning of the tool-assisted segment, which means all the RTA stuff, all of the real-time execution out of the way, allows for some insane stuff to be happening. First of all, I'll note the speedo has changed from just 1 time to 3. We've had the IV, the EV, and the XZ. XZ is what you saw before. That's the general speed of the bike. EV, you'll see build a lot and change a lot as we super grind in the ground here. Super grinding is what happens when you rapidly press on the hop button every kind of 3 frames. And that's because, or every other frame, because every 3 frames, the game attempts to update your bike's rotation. So what that allows for is if we rapidly press that button, you can super grind, and then if you let go of that at the absolutely perfect point, this happens. Yeah. That was Michael and Corvid who performed that. Absolutely insane. That rapid fire hop ejection gains additional height from the egg to clear the gap before the finish line. And now we have what I mentioned before, my favorite track, and in fact, favorite task that has ever been performed in this game. This is a 3-lap task of N64 Bowser's Castle, and we're going to use the same super grinding road ejection technique to make this ultra. Not just make it to the other side. So we still, as you know, have a mushroom. So that allows for a very similar thing to happen on lap 2, which is this. Now, because we don't have a second mushroom, we actually get respawned, which is much more akin to the RTA, or the real-time way of doing this ultra, except for this. I can't really perform that, I'm afraid. I have tried. Bradley will tell you in the practice room I have tried. But lap 3, we don't have a mushroom, so, you know, it's going to be a very boring lap, right? Just wait. Yeah. Yeah. So that is what we do there, is we first clip to get a big bounce to be able to get enough height upon landing from that bounce to do the second clip to the top of the sign, which allows for the horizontal wall glitch to happen. The same thing that we saw on DK Jungle Parkway with the sign clip to get past that. But it's not quite over because we do a shroomless spiral skip. And that cuts the corner of the minimap there, respawns you. And what I love about this task is that it's a different executed lap on every single lap. It's phenomenal. I think that's phenomenal. Do you think that's phenomenal? Now, very, very quickly, that was performed by Lego, Corvid, Marth, Justin, EJ, Monster, Campbell, and Aero. So thank you so much to those. And this is Moo Moo Meadows. Right. This one's back on the Wario bike. Now, this is another new tech that has been discovered since the last showcase of this game. And this is super hopping. You'll see the EV and the IV, in fact. The IV builds to that 120 unit maximum. And instead of being under the track to do that, what we do is we do a series of rapid inputs back and forth and use the outside drift momentum without the mushrooms in a task setting to go fast. And then we do this. Now, the checkpoints and the KCL of this track are shown here, just so you can get an idea of, that's the edge of the track. We are seam riding on the edge of the track and then doing this. And if you want to see it normally, then this, on lap 3, a very similar setup. This is the Moo Moo Meadows Ultra that's performed twice in one run, which is kind of actually just insane. But because we don't have the extra mushroom, we fall off, get respawned by Lakitu right before the finish line. What? What? That was performed by Marth, EJ, Justin, and Lego. Absolutely insane. Like I said, that visualization on lap 2 showed the entry, but yeah. We're on to Peach Beach now. This is another very short task. Luckily, we're able to squeeze this in. Performed by Monster and Justin. I'm going to shut up because look at what happens on screen right now. What? 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 That is a wall clip. Now, I know that looks very easy. The invisible wall there is much, much higher than what is actually like where the mountain is, which allows us to then perform this on lap 2, which is more akin to the RTA Ultra. And then, because we're able to super slide under the ground, or land in a super slide, we're able to preserve momentum, preserve speed through the last turn to do it in a much cooler fashion, lap 3. Yeah. Absolutely insane. We land in a super slide twice. 3 different ways of performing the Ultra in one lap, under 47 seconds. Just absolutely mental. I lied. It's under 48, but still pretty cool. Now. This next task is a pretty historical one, to be honest. It's fairly new, but it is performed by 16 different tasks, which makes this the largest task collaboration in Mario Kart Wii history. I'm going to read those names whilst you look at the screen and look at what's going on. What? What? So this was performed by Thomas, Monster, Malio, EJ, Citronus, I think, Aero, Justin, Cesar, Police, Epic, 95, Lego 11, Shadow, Corvid, Luciana, Jason, and Jack. Now, I did promise Chloe I would give her 20 seconds, maybe 30, to explain why we aren't getting more donations. Hello?
Well, we do have a donation to read, and it's an important one because it's $11.01 from Neflin, which the message at ESA Summer 2012, because that pushed us over the ESA Summer 2012 total, which was the very first ESA 14 years ago. So thank you very much. And Neflin was actually one of the OG people from that ESA.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
That's really, really cool.
Back to you, mate.
Thank you. So that is the Maple Treeway done in a minute. A minute. Now, Mushroom Gorge 3-lap. This is a very quick task, so I'm going to briefly explain what's happening. This is performed by Jello Puff, and it uses the wall ride tech. The same tech that you saw at the beginning of the 32-track segment, except very, very quicker. Very much quicker. This uses the wall ride. So when you go off a mushroom directly onto a wall, your speed locks so you don't decelerate. I'm going to just let it play. And because your speed locks and your rotation can be manipulated, you can just hold the direction and complete all 3 laps in 16 seconds. And if that wasn't cool enough, we have something that is way, to me, cooler. This is the Bowser's Castle Wii lap. Again, this is a fast lap, so we're going to actually speed through the first lap here, but it does give Chloe time, if there is a donation, to read away.
Whilst we don't have anything to read right now, I do want to remind you that we are raising money for Make-A-Wish Foundation, the charity that helps children with critical illnesses experience good times. And with that, we also have some incentives that we can put.
Wait a second, Chloe! Yeah, that's normal. No, that's normal. That's pretty cool. And then this is normal too. Yeah, no, wait, I did that, right? I did that. What about this? No, that's cool. Yeah, no, that was for my Monster, EJ, Aero, Lego, Shadow, Corvid, Leerworm, Paul, Skip, and Token. Come on, what? Absolutely monumental. This is another very quick task. Now, we have already seen Desert Hills Flap in the RTA and it used Kart. This uses the same technique of going out of bounds. However, because we're on a bike, she's flipping me off. It's all right. What we do is we go to do this. We do super grind, and because of the angle that we're able to keep our bike at, because of this slope here, we're able to have that point at which the game is detecting that we're out of bounds not be detected. So what we do is just shroom to maintain as much speed as possible. Instead of 12 seconds RTA, we do that. 6 seconds as a flap. And here we are, onto Koopa Cape. Koopa Cape flap. Another fast lap category, but don't you worry, because if that wasn't insane enough, this one, which is performed by Justin and Michael, uses something called reject road velocity stacking. Now, this isn't the last time you'll see this, but again, we're going to fast forward to the beginning of the flap here, or the beginning of the setup of the flap, and do this, which is the beginning of the setup of the flap. We wall ride, or seam ride, I should say, to... So I'm laughing because I've watched this before, and every time I watch it, it's still just as insane, because this doesn't count you out of bounds. You're underwater about 3,000 meters. I don't know why this doesn't drown the monkey that's on the bike right now, but we use this wall here to clip back up to the track. This is all setting up a delayed lap count. Now, once more, delayed lap count is very technical, but basically it just allows for the checkpoints to be driven around in a quicker fashion. So what we do now is we go to the beginning of this tunnel and we stack speed by doing this. I'll explain a bit more about reject road velocity stacking, but it is very sped up here, and just know that this is even made more difficult by the zipper that you can see is flying past, and then this happens. And that counts the lap. That counts the lap. That is actually, every time I watch that, I giggle to myself internally, and now I can do it externally because I'm on a microphone. So thank you, ESA. Thank you for that opportunity. Like I say, that uses reject road velocity stacking. It gives you tons and tons of external velocity. You'll see it build on the meter on the side of the track. We do the same technique here. Basically, the track is always trying to push you back down to the ground, but because you're at the very, very top of the tunnel, gravity doesn't really work correctly, and it's constantly trying to push you sideways back to the track, building your EV. You'll see we're maintaining insane, nearly 2,000 EV before getting ejected from the track on Koopa Cape, and again, just here. Now, the Ultra itself is pretty simple. It uses, I think, a delayed lap count again to, manipulate the checkpoints. Reject road velocity stacking is a pretty new technique as well, I believe. And the Ultra itself, all we do is we hop from one side of the track to the other and then back again, I believe. But we wait. I don't know why we wait, but we do. And then this happens. Go into the last checkpoint and perform that. 7 seconds. 7 seconds. Yeah. That was the RMR flap by Jello-Puff and Police, and this is the DDR, Dry Ruins flap as well. Now this is very, very unique in this game because this cart is something that you haven't seen before. It's the Royal Racer or the Day Tripper. It uses something called a Day Tripper clip, which you'll see. We clip out of bounds here, and that's not the clip I'm talking about, but we use that clip in order to get underneath the ground. And we don't just get underneath the ground, we actually hang on to the ground for dear life, which is good because I don't like Daisy. I like seeing her in peril underneath the void. But we hang on for dear life with just one wheel. One singular wheel, and then we are able to go to the beginning of the fast lap. Now, I will let this play out because this is just actually insane. So here we go. This is the fast lap. So what happens there is we use the floor and the change in slope to clip through the floor. Then we jump across the lake, clip off a slab of rock, get horizontal wall properties to clip out of bounds and complete the lap with a kart super grind. If that doesn't deserve a cheer, I don't know what does. Now, speaking of deserving cheers, we have one final treat. This is the Toad's Factory Ultra, which is an insane sentence to say. This was the it's one of the last ultras in the game to get discovered, and it was discovered insanely recently. What happens first is we go into the outbounds using a horizontal wall glitch with a cart, and then we go to some invisible walls here. These are going to velocity stack us. Again, the EV, just note the EV in the corner, building as we tip basically on our side. What's happening here is there is a vertical road and a vertical wall facing in opposite directions, which basically let us build speed and allow us to clip like this, or build speed to do that, to get over to the other side of the track. And then we use the same technique on two different walls, but that are parallel across the track, to build even more EV. And I don't want to interrupt this. The TF flap. The TF flap, ladies and gentlemen. With that,
1 second over effort. How dare you?
Now hold on, because I really want to watch can Magnus Carlsen beat a noob with 30 queens. It's interesting to me, and if I do this, Tech is going to absolutely demoralize. No, okay.
It's not just Tech at this point.
Oh well. Before I pass it back, I would just like to quickly mention post-run that the task community has made this, the second half of this especially, insanely accommodating and possible. So huge thank you to Kirio, EJ, Epic, 95, Jello-Puff, Malio, Michael and Justin for their help with selecting, compiling and recording these tasks. Kirio especially for getting this to me so I can practice in my hotel room like a degenerate yesterday evening. Now, it has been an absolute honor to represent this community throughout the years, firstly at the the ESA at last summer, and now to be solo on the mic, ESA, thank you so much. I'm profoundly it's crazy that I'm up here representing this game, this community that I've loved for over half my life at this point. That's not even a joke. Now, if you want to learn more about Mario Kart TAS, there is an mkwtas.com. That is the link to go and find more about TASes and more insane tech. That is just a nugget of what this game and its potential is, right? And also, if you're into Mario Kart Wii in general rather than just the TASes, then there's Mario Kart Wii on Twitch, there's Mario Kart Wii on YouTube. I stream literally daily Mario Kart Wii because I'm also still a degenerate. And there's so many people that are pushing this game's boundaries literally every day. And with that, I'm not gonna glaze the community anymore. You've had enough, guys. Chloe, please take it away before I guess we go to an interview. So.
Yes, that we have one more quick donation before we cut to intermission. We've got a $3 anonymous donation with a message, "This is what Kongs see when they die." That went towards the Black Ops 2 Zombies target, and with that, we are now going to cut to an intermission so we can yap to you and the other guy. God, that's who that is.
Yeah, who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
him
everyone.
even more.
Thank you so
we'll
much.
See you all in a minute.